Welcome back to What She Said Sports. I'm over here going, are we live? Yes, 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 we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. I know y'all been waiting on this show because I have two. Um, Let me make sure y'all can hear me, y'all can see me. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Lots to talk about, right? Playing the show around talking about the Browns, and then there was some conversation happening throughout the day in our chat, and then in other chat sections about the Buffs. And I saw an interview. So there's certain things that are starting to come out that basically let you know what some of the difference makers were when it came to Colorado. Now, normally I compare. I had said that Colorado was operating, making sure I can hear. Colorado was operating like Colorado was operating like Cleveland. Okay, no more. No more. I can honestly say after Colorado defeated Iowa State, I think was it 24-17, Colorado got its act together. And certain things came out, right? There were people that put comments in the chat that said, one of the things they noticed is Coach Prime had his head set down for the game. He was talking, he was communicating. I know at one point I said he was in the huddle. He could be seen on the side encouraging Caden. We have some clips. We're going to look at that. And this is where Colorado rank away from the Stefanski type program, right? Which we said, right? Because of Pat Schumer, we said, hey, Colorado looking too much like Cleveland, right? But no more, no more. After Iowa State, Colorado is gone back on its own path. People pointing out Coach Prime got his head set down. Yes, it could have all been attributed to him being out for the summer, the blood clots, which I know were motivated, right? One of the players, O-lineman, basically said, what? Y'all messing with my money. So y'all gonna need to get it together. And the O-line is good. We fixed that O-line problem, right? Even with Shedeur gone, we saw a bit of an O-line problem. These players are holding each other accountable. You can hear Jordan Seaton telling on the sideline. I wasn't sure if he was talking to a coach or a player. He said, you looked me in my eye and told me you got me. So make sure you got me. I love this for this leadership. Jordan Seaton as a franchise player. And I will say this. I said this on X. I said, and it's a big if Cleveland were a true professionally run sports team, a football team, a professional football team, meaning they didn't have an agenda to drag black players back to the plantation or back to Jim Crow. They were truly trying to win. You know who should be their first overall pick? Jordan Seaton. Imagine Jordan Seaton, Shedeur Sanders, Myles Garrett. Tell me I'm wrong. That's what they should be trying to do. Put together a championship winning team, but that's not what they're doing. But that's what Coach Prime is working on. Shout out to Coach Prime. To the person that said, did you notice Coach Prime had his head set down? I said, I thought I saw it, but I didn't watch the whole game. I mean, I did, but I wasn't paying attention to that when we were live. I was paying attention to the play calling like I said I would be. But I did notice it. But I didn't notice it consistently because I wasn't focused on it, but it did stand out to me. So shout out to Coach Prime for listening to the fans. We all talked about how play calling is a box that needs to be checked, but clock management was superb. If it's true, because I need to go back and look at the whole game. I think Wheels normally has the whole game. If it's true, the headset is down, even if all the highlight clips. That means he's listening. In addition to clock management, he's listening to, we need you to look like you're doing something. We don't need to look like somebody else is in control and you're not. I watched the pregame show. Uncle Neely had an in-locker room interview with Caden that opened my eyes to what's going on over there. Now, I already knew there was some kind of disconnect. Coach Prime not fully committed to Caden. That's what all the switch was about with Staub. And y'all know I didn't like that. But guess what Caden said to Uncle Neely when he was questioned in the locker room about what has transpired since to get to the point where they are a winning team or can be a winning team for the next 5 games. He said after the game that I didn't play, Coach Prime came to me and said he committed to me. And after the game, where he threw the 3 interceptions, he stood up in front of the team in the meeting and said, I'm not going to do that S no more. So they both were committed to winning. So even Michael Irvin knew something was going on, because I could hear in his speech, which was fantastic, no matter what's going on. And he started to say something, but he quickly got his words together. And he said, y'all pulled it out. Exactly. So all this time, what she said, sports community, was correct. There was some inner turmoil happening there. There was a power struggle there, and it still is. We talking about Pat Schumer undermining Coach Prime, and I saw Pat Schumer in the locker room hugging one of the old linemen, hugging somebody else, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know about all that. We saw him hug Kato Salter, but the play caller still wasn't conducive to a dual threat. I don't know about all that. But Coach Prime encouraging Caden on the sideline. For those, I think G. Mania was worried about if Coach Prime was encouraging Caden. Yes, it's on camera. It wasn't done to be performative. He was encouraging him on the side. I think we have a clip. But for Caden to tell us, to be transparent and tell us that after that U of H game, Coach Prime came to him and said, I'm committed. And then Caden admitted, I'm not going to do that no more. I told y'all, that's a young man. And he was right to feel the way he was. And he was right to be accountable for how he was feeling. And I'm happy that the team, I saw people walking by on the side, giving Caden attaboys on his head, encouraging him, because that's what was missing. Because people were being selfish and wanted it to be styled because they thought he was like Shedeur. No, there is no other Shedeur. So shout out to Colorado. I can no longer say the program is running like Stefanski. Shout out to Caden for being transparent with the team and embracing Coach Prime, even after feeling neglected or treated unjustly. That's called growth. Shout out to Coach Prime for listening to his advisors, his fan base, and possibly What She Said Sports Podcast and community. For doing the work himself so that he doesn't languish and fall to 1-5. Like who? Cleveland. Cleveland fans are sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's about time. It's about time. They want Stefanski fired. There's a post going viral saying that Stefanski has been fired, but supposedly it's like one of those fake posts or whatever. But I just had to ask the question, right? Because we're going to look at the stats. I put the game on 3 times, but I was doing other things. And I just couldn't dedicate myself to watching it because I was doing other things. And all I know is I heard Dylan got sacked, Dylan got sacked, Dylan got sacked. So I went and checked the stats. I was like, oh my God, this game was bad. The Browns didn't even score a touchdown. I'm like, okay, so what's the plan here? Because I know there's a play. So Stefanski told us that Dylan, he had to think long and hard before he put him out there. Flacco is gone. And some are saying that Flacco kind of made some moves to get the hell on to open the door for Shedeur. If he did, shout out to Flacco. And he didn't get sacked excessively like Dylan did today. And the fact that he's a starter over there and he was traded, even though he was only traded for a 6, maybe. And even if he was retaliated against for hanging out with Shadure, it still worked to his benefit, just like Greg Newsom being traded to the Jaguars, even though they lost today. Shout out to Travis Hunter, who got baptized before the Jags game. He decided to dedicate his journey to God. I love it for him. When we always move closer to God, it's because we're going to need it. We just don't know. It seems voluntary at the time. But when you feel that urging and that pull to move closer to God and give your life to God, it's because you're going to need it. So shout out to Travis Hunter. I'm so proud of this young man. He's growing up right before our eyes, becoming his own man, becoming a father, becoming a husband, and becoming a God-fearing young man. Serious about his craft and serious about being a good man. Shout out to Travis Hunter. So, as you can see on my screen, there are some articles here. This one came out of one publication, Cleveland.com. It said, I don't think the Browns should fire Kevin Stefanski this season. And I don't think the owners, Dee and Jimmy Haslam, want to. See, that's the problem right there. They are 1-5, And this person who probably has inside information pretty much could tell you they don't want to fire Stefanski. So what's the play? I tell you what's coming up. Trade talk is happening. And there's somebody on the chopping block that I'm not surprised. He's on the chopping block. Who is it? Njoku. I knew Njoku when he was gravitating towards Shedeur. I said, okay, this your contract year. Let's see what happened. They talking about trading him. I'm not surprised. Somebody might say it's for another reason. But once again, everybody that gravitates towards Shador to make sure he good, to cheer for Shador like Flacco did, they get moved out. But hey, guess what? Flacco seemingly is better off in Cincinnati, even though they lost. He gonna get another opportunity. And they don't care about that because they really saving that spot for Joe Burrow. They don't expect Flacco to come in there and lights out. They don't. They just need a placeholder. And it's better for him to be a placeholder in the same state, Ohio, and Cincinnati, than it is in Cleveland because of all the politics going on in Cleveland. And he don't like what he see happening to Shador, which is why he gravitated towards Shador. So if that is the reason, maybe behind the scenes, he made some moves with his agent. He been in the league a long time. Maybe like, look, talk to them and see if they open to it. Get me the hell out of here. And then it did move Shador up to QB2 against Stefanski's wishes. But did he put him in the game after Dylan was sacked 6 times? Does Stefanski really like Dylan? Because if you could say last week confidently that you had to think long and hard about putting Dylan out there, and then you put Dylan out there knowing what was going to happen. I told you he was going to get his head knocked off. Myles Garrett said it. It ain't going to be pretty, and it wasn't. If I'm Dylan, I don't really think you like me to put me in this situation. Facts. They are showing you are just a wedge to keep Shedeur from QB1. But check this out, right? People know on the inside, as bad as the team is, that the Haslams don't seem to have a sense of urgency to correct this ship, put in another head coach, even if it's the offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees, so they can win this season to satisfy the fans. Why do you think they don't have a sense of urgency? Because they're waiting on their great white hope next season. This season is a wash for them. People think that the Browns are paying Deshaun Watson's salary. No, Deshaun Watson's injury was covered by insurance. So the insurance company picked up the tab for Deshaun Watson's $46 million. So they in the clear. But there's a lot of trade talk happening. And one of the reasons I think they put Dylan out there is so they could trade him. I could be wrong, but there's somebody else on the trade talk list that has been coming up over and over. And I know he was trying to get out of Atlanta. Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins' contract is so heavy. We talking 4 years, 180 mil with 3 left, 90 million guaranteed, a $10 million roster bonus spot, which means he need to be on that roster or somebody else's roster. And if he want to get the hell from behind Michael Penix so he could play, and Cleveland don't want to push Shador in at QB2 and Dylan is bad, I guess I just go get me a veteran. That's not Bailey Zapp. Somebody that gives me the chance to win. I don't see that being Kirk Cousins, but they could convince themselves. Now, you would think if Haslam said when it came to the pre-draft, after pre-drafting, we should do a 7-8 to the process, we took a big swing and miss with Deshaun Watson. Let's unbury ourselves. The last thing I would expect Cleveland to do is go get heavily invested in a contract that has 3 years left on $180 million with $90 million guaranteed and $10 million roster bonus guaranteed. That's $100 million guaranteed. If they pick up Kirk Cousins with $100 million guaranteed and he bombed out in Atlanta, it should convince everybody that Shedeur Sanders is being discriminated against because they don't think as a black man he's worthy of being QB1 franchise long term. Understand, Deshaun Watson was their starter temporarily. He never played more than 8 games a season, just like Flacco. And he's only been hurt the way he's been hurt in Cleveland. So there is an agenda here. And keeping Shedeur away from QB1 explains why they will let Dylan get out there and be decimated. You just gonna have to take one for the team because you know we can't put him in, and we did not activate Bailey Zapp unless they did and didn't tell nobody. From what I could see, no other quarterback played. So once again, it said, I don't think the Browns should fire Kevin Stefanski this season. I disagree. He need to go expeditiously. And I don't think owners, D and Jimmy Haslam, want to. The Browns fans need to force them to make a change and give a damn about winning. But that's on the Browns fans. They tired, but are they truly sick and tired of being sick and tired? It said, but at a certain point, like maybe after 11 straight games scoring 20 or fewer points, you wonder when they'll feel the need. See, this tells you that they're not even taking into consideration how the fans feel. It's about what the Haslams want to do. The Browns fans got a good time because they wouldn't get 5 seconds of my time and they damn sure wouldn't get my money. Whether I got it or I'm using Klarna, Because you got to give a damn. You got to show me you competitive. You got to show me you trying to win. You got to show me this is not scripted. You got to show me that you're not discriminating against this young man. You got to show me that you out here trying to win. You got to show me that you willing to bench a perfectly elite QB1 that you was going to pay $46 million to because you want to get your great white hope next weekend. You can't get my money with that. Because you don't know if who you trying to get is going to pan out in the NFL. Because like y'all said, Dylan was good in college. Is he good now? And for the people out here comparing Shedeur's 4 years of stats to Dylan's 6 years of stats, seriously? That's apples to oranges. And Shedeur still had the better accuracy. But they wanted to say Dylan had more yards. Don't nobody give a damn about yards. What did you do with those yards? Did you just get down to the red zone and have to kick a field goal? Who gives a damn about yards? That's some kind of inflated stat they use to excuse and eliminate people. But nobody gave a damn when Shadure came out of college with the best accuracy and some hellified yards after being sacked 52 times. See, it don't matter when it's Shedeur being elite, but they got to go falsify and trump up stats and prop out Dylan to the preseason only to end up right here. That they knew they were going to end up right here. And if you were going to pay him $46 million and you have him for $4 million and you still don't want to put him out there, and Barry can confidently say he's going to increase his draft stock, how the hell is he going to do that? So you just going to let Dylan get pummeled knowing he can't handle this pressure? Or you going to put him in and prop him up against Miami next week? This on the Browns fans. This is why I didn't watch that game. I was watching the Panthers and the Cowboys. I was trying to watch Jacksonville, but it wasn't on. And they lost anyway. Cleveland is 1-5, but so are the Ravens. And Huntley even got in today. And Huntley was on the practice squad last week. He wasn't even listed as QB3. So that meant they activated him because they had a feeling that Chase, or what's his name, Cooper Rush, was going to need some help. Huntley got in and he balled out. Then he started getting sacked. He looked like Lamar out there a little bit till he started getting sacked like Lamar. So we just needed you out here to fulfill the game. We don't need you looking better than Cooper Rush because then people going to want us to make you QB2. There's always an agenda when it comes to these black quarterbacks. This is why they didn't play Shador. But you see, they played Huntley and he came off the practice squad because Cooper Rush looked bad. And I guess in Baltimore, the fans not going to go for that. They're not going to go for that with Cooper just out there allowed to just lose the game. So they had to appear like they were trying to win. The Browns don't even do that. They don't even appear that they trying to win. It's like they don't even give a damn what they fans think. And they use the term loyal. They don't think y'all loyal. They think y'all dumb. It said Browns Kevin Stefanski is listed as a candidate to lose his job in the near future. He should be fired already. What we waiting on? The man was sub 500 when the season started. What was he, 4-13 last year, and now he's 1-5? What we waiting on? The easier part of the season? So, yeah, maybe Flacco got the hell out of there, or maybe he was retaliated against. But either way, like Greg Newsome, best wishes to you. Shout out to you. You got yourself into a better situation. Cleveland is reported by their own podcasters as being a dumpster fire. That's a good way to say it. I would say it's an ish show. And the owners have no sense of urgency to do anything. Let's see what happened. Because after they lost to the Lions, Kevin Stefanski adamantly said he wasn't even focused on the quarterback position. And then what happened? Dylan got elevated and Flacco got benched. Then Flacco got the hell on. However it happened, he got the hell on to a better situation. And actually had a better game than Dylan did. He didn't have to endure being sacked 6 times. He was sacked once. So their trash O-line actually protected him. And I thought Dylan was the favorite. I told y'all. Dylan is a wedge. And he gonna be feeling it tonight. So I'm not gonna ask y'all to waste y'all brain cells and tell me and ask y'all, do you think Stefanski should be fired? I know y'all know he should be fired. I say when. Here's what I really want to know. Do you believe Shedeur should start in Miami? That's the question for this podcast. The Browns gonna do what they gonna do. Knowing what you saw tonight, Dylan getting sacked 5 to 6 times, couldn't even score. They say the O-line isn't good. They're talking about trading the leader of the O-line, the Boitano guy. Him and Joe Cool on the chopping block, apparently. Do you think Shedeur should play against Miami, knowing that the O-line is deficient and seemingly worse than Cincinnati's? Or do you think just let Dylan keep going because this is not a good situation for Shedeur? Just like it wasn't a good situation for Flacco. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It said Browns coach Kevin Stefanski makes interesting comment about giving up the play calling. We talked about who was calling the plays. Seemingly, it was him. We thought it was the offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees. Right? That's what we thought. It said it sounds like Kevin Stefanski might be considering giving up play calling as the Cleveland Browns fall to 1-5 with one of the worst offenses in the NFL. So knowing they have one of the worst offenses in the NFL, do you believe Shador Sanders should start in Miami? That's when their season gets easier. That's their 6 games in. I think Miami is the 7th, which must be the break unless they got somebody else next week or a bye week next week. Answer that question in the comments and don't just say no or yes because I need to know the context when I read the comments. Say yes, Miami, or no, not Miami or whatever. Because I'm curious. I know we wanted Shador to play because he's good, but let's consider the circumstances he would be playing under. One of the worst O-lines in the league. They held him back. They held it back. And what does it say? When God delays or redirects, it's for your good and God's glory. They refuse to push Shadeur out there, even though Baltimore put Huntley out there. Maybe it's for Shadeur good if he don't play for the Browns no time soon. And Stefanski uttering maybe he should give up play calling must be some kind of consolation prize so that they fans can shut the hell up. Meaning, okay, I know I'm bad, but the owners don't want to fire me, so we're going to give y'all a middle ground. I'm going to just hand over the headset to Tommy Rees. I'm going to demote myself, but I'm going to still be here. That shows you he's there for the toxic culture. They knew he wasn't a good coach. If they want to keep him installed as a head coach, it's so the culture can remain as toxic as it is. Because we all know the culture starts at the top, and we're talking about the team. Andrew Berry is on the executive side of things in the back. Kevin Stefanski is the head coach. He himself is responsible for executing the toxic culture, whether Haslam is the catalyst or not. He could say no. So seemingly they're going to divide the duties up and give Tommy Rees, who came out and said great things about Shadeur, the headset going into Miami. Will that make the O-line better? And why leave toxic Kevin Stefanski around at all? So the culture can remain toxic or biased? I'm starting to think people believe the new word for biased is incompetent. Absolutely not. That's giving Stefanski a pass. He might not be a good coach, but he knows exactly what he's doing when he's holding back Shedeur Sanders and saying things like, we're going to have to put him down and we have standards. That's called being biased. I'll let you argue over what type of bias it is he's exhibiting against Shedeur. Because to be honest, it doesn't even really matter. So it said it appears the Cleveland Browns fans have had enough of Kevin Stefanski as their head coach. So here comes that headset off, headed to Tommy Rees, but I'm still in the building. They need to pack his stuff up and put it outside the door and say, you know what, we're going to go in a different direction and make Tommy Rees the head coach and keep it pushing. Tommy Rees is the only other coach that spoke out over there besides Stefanski that was willing to be transparent and was seemingly normal and had no agenda other than just being transparent. It said the Browns suffered a 23-9 loss in Pittsburgh to the Steelers to fall to 1-5 on the season. The offense failed to score a touchdown, and following the game, Browns fans were calling for Stefanski to be fired. So these are the headlines after the game. Seemingly they're ready to move on. But is ownership? I don't think so. I think ownership, personally, I said ownership was setting him up to fail at this point because what happened with OU in Texas? Out of nowhere, Texas gets it together and defeat number 6 ranked OU. Somebody's bank account is fat tonight. Because what does that do? It revives the conversation about the Manning kid coming out this year while Cleveland has the number 1 pick. And I can assure you the Mannings probably do not want Stefanski anywhere near the Browns, whether he has a headset or not. One thing I know about the Manning kid, he don't have a problem with black people at all. So what's the play? Not just to make Dylan look bad, but to let Stefanski execute his ill-advised plan to hurt Shadure by putting Dylan out there, and he hurt himself because now people are ready for him to go. And here's the thing. I think this was the plan because they knew the Manning kid was coming out. It's not a coincidence Texas beat OU this weekend. Somebody said it. Damn, Shedeur gets to be QB2. Colorado gets to win. I'm like, also Texas gets to win. Texas getting the opportunity to win revives that conversation that was dead. Skip Bayless. Well, you know, you can't talk about the Manning kid being number 1. People said he was just bitter because he was an OU fan. I guess he went to Oklahoma. Or he from there or something. Fans believe the kid is legit. He took down number 6 ranked Oklahoma. The timing is perfect timing. That's all I'm gonna say. So whatever they gonna do, it looked like Haslam gonna try to get his way, which is why he ran out there to Ohio State. I told y'all whether the kid was good or not. They was gonna bring him out next year. It seemed like they were trying to force him to come out against his own wishes. So they feel like he has to do this for the greater good. What's the greater good? Stopping 17 of 32 Black starting quarterbacks. And Shedeur is still number 17. So let's take a look at the stats, everybody. I already have them queued up. So let's take a look, and then we're going to hop over to the comments. All right. So y'all know I like to start at the top looking at what really transpired. All right. So who scored first? It seems that the Steelers scored first. I guess maybe the defense held them to a field goal. And then finally in the second quarter, it looks like a field goal was executed by the Browns, 6 points by the Steelers. Then after halftime, another. So they just field goal their way to 9 points. It's not like it was a touchdown and a field goal. They absolutely scored no touchdowns, which means you do not have a quarterback. You have a game manager and not a very good game manager. So 23-9, I consider that a blowout. I'm sure a lot of people do. So let's get in here and get into the stats so we can see. We already have Dylan queued up 29 of 52. Good grief. 52 reps and only executed 30. No need to do the math on that. That's slightly above half. And then you have 221 yards. No touchdowns, no interception on rushing. Quinshon Junkins had 12 carries for only 36 yards. That's weird. Okay. Jerome Ford and then Dylan Sampson. So not too much happened on the rushing game. Then we have the receivers. The leading receiver, Harold Fanning Jr., 7 receptions for 81 yards. And then we had Jerry Jeudy. So really, Julie is relegated to the second running back. I mean, he the first wide receiver, but he not the leading receiver. Harold Fanning Jr., a tight end, I believe, is. There's Njoku, who they talking about trading. 3 receptions with 28 yards and only having 3 catches says a lot. So now Gage Lavardian, people said Clara in the comments that Gage went into the medical tent. I hope he's okay. Seems like they activated him to a receiver beyond just special teams. So 2 receptions for 22 yards. It looks like they switched places. It looks like they took Gage and put him in the lineup, and maybe Isaiah Bond, 2 catches for 9 yards. Did he move down to special teams maybe? Kick return, Dylan Sampson and Jerome Ford. So you got your running backs on kick returns for 124 yards. That's not bad. 124 yards, 5 returns. And then punt return, there's Isaiah Bond and Gage. So Gage and Isaiah Bond were both working punt returns. Okay. And then the kicker got a lot. Andre, he's 3 of 3, 9 points. And then the punter punted 4 times, an average of 49 yards. Okay. So who was their leading defender? Devin Bush, 7 of 2. Then Ronnie Hickman, 4 of 3. Tyson Campbell, 3 of 2. Tyson Campbell was the kid they just brought in. The player they just brought in, I think, from the Jaguars to replace Newsome. So he pretty good today for somebody that just got there. 3 of 2. That's not bad. So let's look at the team stats. Yeah, you could see just by the colors alone, the brown, that the Steelers, the black and the brown, they just ran away with the game. Total yards 335 to 248 total yards, with 183 passing for the Browns and only 65 on the ground. Wow. 3.3 yards per play, which is had to be hard to watch that. And then 5.8 for the Steelers. On first downs, 20 first downs. That's pretty good. They got 20 first downs. And then 6 of 17, but they couldn't convert 2 of 4. 75 plays for the Browns, where only 58 for the Steelers, which means they kind of was holding back, huh? Sacks allowed, 6 to the, I guess Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback or somebody else. They weren't sacked at all. 4 punts for the Browns, 2 for the Steelers. Penalties, 6 of 44. That's not so bad. Versus 10 of 59. So even the Steelers had more penalties. No fumbles were lost, no interceptions, 28 minutes with the ball. They just couldn't score. The offense just couldn't make it happen. So that's the story. All right. Well, yeah, Kevin Stefanski should just be demoted. He should actually be fired. I don't know why they want to save him, but I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I think that has more to do with not hurting your own than trying to preserve the season to win, right? Not turning on your own, protecting your own. That's what that's given. Why? Because he's a faithful servant. And we all know they're not talking about work, even though that's what it says. No. So that's why I think they are slow to get rid of him. But that should tell their fans everything. Like, this is what the fans like, you know what? We out. We out. Just like they leave early when they get bad. How about just not show up? How about send a message? Right? Establish some type of accountability. They just running over you. I mean, basically, that's what it is. They just running over them. So let me see what y'all are saying over here in the comments. You know, it just seems to me that everybody knows what the situation is, but the Browns just not interested in doing nothing about it. So welcome if you're just not joining us. Don't be stingy with the like button. Subscribe. We're less than 100 away from 5,500. You know, we're on pace to go to 10,000, but we're just baby stepping into 5,500. I think 6,000 is an excellent milestone. So 5,500, it starts, cues up the celebration. Don't forget, we have memberships here. We have memberships on Patreon. If you're just not joining us, there are over 300 people in the chat. Y'all really want to know what we was going to say tonight. Thank y'all so much. 340 people in the chat. Get ready to hop on over to the comments. I can't wait to hear what y'all had to say. All right, let's see who in here. Okay, I'm just trying to get, it's a lot of comments. We ain't gonna be able to get them all. So I'm gonna have to be selective here. Okay, all right. Hey B Thomas, how you doing? How you doing? Hey Crowley, how you doing? Hello, chat. What she said. Wow, the Cleveland Browns lost again. Yep. Salute, salute, salute. It said, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey Sharon, how you doing? It said, I've been waiting for this. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There we go. There we go. How we doing? How we doing, everybody? It says scary game, literally playing for players not to get annihilated. Wow. Okay. That's crazy, right? Stefanski panics. Okay. He should just voluntarily resign, but demote himself. However they want to do it, right? However they want to do it. Tina Davis, how you doing, Tina? How you doing? Hey, Blind Beauty, welcome back. Welcome back, Peter. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hey, Miss Anyway, it said, Queen, you gonna talk about the leprechaun? I mean, I don't know what you want me to say other than next time he talk about clicks and likes, he might not want to. If I was him, I would just go walk up to Shadue and apologize to him because everybody loves Shadeur. That's all I'm gonna say. Everyone has been talking bad about Kevin Stefanski and his bad play calling. 52 attempts is awful. Yeah, it is. It said Cleveland need a short list for a head coach ASAP. Right. Look, at this point, just go ahead on and elevate Tommy Rees, right? He's the only one who actually emerged from that coaching staff to be transparent about Shador and honest about Shador. And I don't care who the quarterback is. Kevin Stefanski should not be calling the plays. And they should fire him. But I guess they want to protect their own. So they're willing to sell the fans up the river instead of righting the ship. Okay. That's on their fans then. I bet the views for that game were low. It said Jordan has another year before he's eligible. Yeah, he has one more year, right? Or he's definitely a leader. Definitely a leader. So that means he can't come out as their number one overall pick. Well, that's probably good for him because Shadeur might not even be there. 52 attempts and not one touchdown. It said, yes, Jordan Seaton should be paired with Shadeur in the NFL. I totally agree. Totally agree. Shout out to Coach Prime. It said he coached out Iowa State. I'm proud of Coach Prime for wearing his headset because I did notice it, but I didn't know if it was consistent. And somebody else said they felt like it was consistent throughout the game. Shout out to Coach Prime. And of course, the clock management was great, and the whole commitment to Caden. See, people don't understand how huge that was. We talked about that. If Coach Prime doesn't show, see, these kids feed off of what the head coach is doing. What did the parents say down at UNC with Belichick? That Belichick has created a toxic environment, and the kids are feeding off of that. So when Coach Prime moved away from Caden and was listening to the kids, and Schumer was talking about how cerebral style was, even though that was a whole disaster, it took a lot for Coach Prime, I'm imagining, to put his pride aside and go to Caden and say, I'm committed to you going forward. Because that was wrong. And that mattered to that kid. People want to act like he shouldn't have felt no way. You would have at that age. Hell, somebody else would have flashed out and ended up in jail. I'm telling you, when I heard the O-lineman, don't know his name, I heard him say to his own teammates, you out here messing with my money, so I'm going to need you to get it together. That's the leadership that's needed on the O-line. It has been absent, and only Jordan Seaton has had it. We need that type of accountability. And the O-line, they got it together. They looking good out here. Allowed no sacks, no pressures. And Caden said it. The O-line was doing good, but they always do good. So he not trying to make sure he don't throw the O-line under the bus. See, Caden know what happened last year, right? So he trying to protect himself. He trying to ball out. He trying to show out of his NFL year. But it was too much working against him from within. So shout out to Coach Prime for going to Caden like a man. And sometimes the older generation has too much pride to apologize or to hold them own selves accountable for putting the younger generation in a bad situation. And then Caden had to be accountable in return and say, you know what, I'm not going to do that no more. He got to get out his feelings too. So they worked it out. And the Bucs look good. I think we can win the next 5. Now, do I think Pat Schumer should be fired? Absolutely. I think Pat Schumer and Kevin Stefanski should be fired on the same day, which is a Saturday. That's how I feel. There's no good coming from neither one of them. I think if Brett Bertolone were the OC I think the play calling will be much better, much smoother, right? It wouldn't look like I'm doing this begrudgingly or trying to take you down without nobody realizing it. Seeing Schumer run through the locker room and hug the players, I'm like, that didn't feel too genuine to me. And I'm not sure how the players felt about it. I ain't gonna put no words in nobody's mouth, but just go watch the video. It said, yup, he controlled the clock as well. Yup, Coach Prime did a good job. Jordan Seaton was talking to a player. Okay, so he was talking to a player. You say you got me, so make sure you got me. And I love how the coach was hyping him up, making sure they stayed engaged. Kind of that Warren Sapp energy, which is needed, right? Is definitely needed at Colorado. To me, Livingston doesn't have that personality. So, and then there's the other guy, the one that y'all say everybody likes that works with the linebackers. He has that too, right? He's very vocal and he encourages them, hypes them up a bit, right? So, and I saw him over there doing a swag surf. I didn't know they was playing it, but they was playing the swag surf. So is the band still performing at the game? Because I didn't hear the band. I just hear like music coming across the speaker. So it said Coach Prime heard me. He might have, because I know he liked my posts, 2 of them. So, if so, good, because we just had your best interest at heart. I want Coach Prime to stay there to the end of his contract. I want him to get to the Natty. I want him to get the Big 12. I want him to go all the way twice, not one time, maybe 3 times, because I know he can. And the Buffs are so talented. Do y'all know that Taufik Bayard caught that interception with a cast on his arm? That was the first thing that came to my mind when I heard it. I said, is he wearing a cast? I'm like, this young man is such a dog that he caught an interception with a cast on his arm. He had just hurt himself. I heard him talking about it. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. London Merritt, everybody talking about how a star he is. I'm telling you, them IMG kids, that's a pipeline to Colorado. Them kids know they can come and start. London Merritt said it. They just play the best man up over here. That's good to hear, right? Because we were wondering about that sometimes. But it looked like even with a depleted roster, Colorado still got it together. And as I think it was Perry or Tamika pointed out in the chat, for the first 5, 7, 6 games that we played, what are they, 2 and 3 and 4, 7 games? Take what works and keep it pushing. Make sure you put the best personnel out there. And I double checked. It is not against the law or illegal to play zone and man in the same damn game. So Robert Livingston has no reason for sticking to man, and these kids getting gassed. You can switch off to zone, especially 3 and out. And I would expect not to see that no more. And I definitely don't want to see 3 run pass options in a row, because that ain't right. So I'm glad they have a bye week. Things are getting better. Culture starts at the top. With Coach Prime, he made changes. The kids made changes. It was inspiring to Coach Prime. I heard the same old lineman that said no sacks, no pressure say, I'm glad I came here. He said Coach Prime went and had surgery and came to work the next day. He said, you know how motivating that is to us? If he could do it, hell, we could do it. True. Very, very true. Shout out to Coach Prime. So it said, I saw a glimpse of Pat Schumer, and he looked wide-eyed behind the glass upstairs. Oh, okay. I didn't see him in the game. Normally the camera kind of making a point, but I must have missed that. It said he better be looking for the guillotine. It said Queen Stefanski, boy, is hot garbage. Yes. Talking about he might give up the headset. How about you give up your desk, your office, your computer password, and your key card or your bio fingerprint access to the door? How about you just say, you know what? I'm a hindrance to the team. My culture I brought here is toxic, and I'm not good as a coach anyway, so I'm going to just go home. Let's see if it happens. And shame on the Haslams for not caring about their fans, because they don't. It said Dylan threw about 5 missed interceptions. What did he tell us? He said, yeah, I had to think long and hard before I put Dylan out there. And here we are. And if the Ravens put in Huntley, brought him off the practice squad, activated him, made him available for the game, and he looked pretty good till he started getting sacked. But he did pretty good. He used his legs and everything. Why didn't the Browns make those adjustments? Playing keep away with QB1, and everybody's calling it out. I would prefer for people to stop using incompetent and start using the word biased. Kevin Stefanski is not incompetent. when it comes to Shedeur. He's intentionally biased. And never forget, the owners took him off the board. And the same owner is one of them over there in Cleveland who's slow to hold Kevin Stefanski accountable or replace him with Tommy Rees, who's right there on the team. So Kevin Stefanski is doing somebody else's bidding who also appears to be biased, not incompetence. That's giving them a pass. Hold them accountable and they feet to the fire. If the Browns fans were serious about this team, they would go for a 2-for-1. Get rid of Stefanski and push for the Haslams to be forced to sell the team and go to public ownership like the Green Bay Packers. That's what they need to do for themselves. They support the team too much. They too loyal to this team for this team not to give a damn about them. TJ Watt was giving Dylan Gabriel business. Yup. And what did did the camera flash over to Myles Garrett? Because Myles Garrett said this ain't gonna be pretty. It's not gonna be pretty. So I don't know. Instead, Dylan threw 53 times, absolutely no touchdowns. That's insane. 97 people. Can y'all hit the like button? Thank you. It said, love it, Travis. Yes. Proud of Travis. I could kind of see that it seemed like he and his wife had gone to some type of counseling or Bible study. I think she over that first game or something like that. And she had a phone in her hand, but she put her hand over his head. And I was like, okay, they must have went to some kind of Christian marital counseling or some kind of counseling with that got faith-based, God-centered, and for Travis to get baptized. Now, I don't know if she was there, but there was a woman and a man, one on his left, one on his right, when they dunked him other, and I thought maybe it was her, but I don't know for sure. I'm happy for Travis. I really am. He's really trying to do the right thing. So I hope it works out for him. Congratulations to Travis. Only God knows. Facts. It said, I still say these coaches got together and talked to Coach Prime, read his messages, and I constantly been talking to him about Schumer and how they were sabotaging it. Oh, I know he heard that from a lot of people. I know his phone be blowing up. And it was nice to hear Coach Prime prioritize Miss Carucci, his lady. It was starting to go viral a little bit about the whole FaceTime conversation when Shadore was like, when she come around, things been bad, whatever. And he was like, who are you talking about? Carucci, not no slip rock, meaning that's not true. It was good to hear him, talk about, my lady want to go get something to eat and we won. So I think I might go do that because normally he don't want to go out when he lose. So he's prioritizing, what she might want to do. And I'm going to just say this, when you have kids and you start dating and y'all, regardless of your status, but you start dating if you're not married or y'all split up or was never married, sometimes your kids don't really like the person you date because they just kind of feel some type of way about their mama or they got their own agenda, this, that, and the other. Here's the thing, right? Coach Prime is going through a lot. And I have said, I think it's wonderful that he has somebody in his life that keeps showing up, right? That keeps showing up. And that needs to be the priority. So to see him prioritize her over maybe the feelings of things about what somebody thought, like when she come around, things go bad. And she heard that. And she's like, no, that's not true. And I was like, they play a lot. Maybe they was just playing it. But people was truly trying to take it and run with it. And I never really talked about it because, it's the family dynamic. But that's personal. I was happy to hear him prioritize her after that, right? So, Coach Prime getting older, and this kid's he an empty nester. Bossy's gone on. She got her own relationship. DeAndrea had Snow. She got her life. Buck is there, but he got a life too, right? He travels. He does other things. I know his sister's around. I think his mom goes to the nursing home. She hangs out with Miss Peggy. I did not know that. So she got a life, his sister, I think she got kids. She got a life. And, Shiloh's doing his own thing. He's an empty nester. For the most part, he's an empty nester. It's good to have somebody around who genuinely wants to be around you. Carucci has 13 million subscribers on Instagram alone. She is definitely not there for his clout. They both have clout. And the fact that she keeps showing up and she keeps showing up, right? I'm just saying, sometimes you got to let go of the trauma from the past and make a commitment to people, just like he made a commitment to Kater. That's all. All right. So shout out to Coach Prime and Carucci. Praise God for Travis. Yes, I'm happy for him. He looks great too. It said the offense was horrible. Dylan Gabriel was throwing straight hospital balls. Got sacked multiple times. Should have had at least 4 picks. They probably was trying not to get more picks than it was, because it was already bad at 23-9 with no scoring by the offense, only the kicker. It said all teams have to do is load up the box against Dylan Gabriel because he can't see over the line, which will force him outside of the pocket. Okay. So that's what's happening. It said, I'm glad for Travis. I hope his wife. Okay. Facts. I ain't gonna put it on the screen, but I hear you. We wish the best for him and his family. We're gonna say it like that. It said, has there been any update on Gage? Not to my knowledge, but Clara, if you in the comments or anybody else that told me about Gage, let us know if y'all can find out something. Hey, Amber, good evening. I see you got your tool over there. Make sure you use it if necessary. Hey, Elijah, it said it was not pretty. Just like Myles Garrett said. That's why I was wondering if the camera panned over to Myles Garrett was like, I told you so. He told him it's not going to be pretty. It's not. Did y'all hear about the Pittsburgh player who Jalen Ramsey in the game? Something happened. And I don't know if he caught a pick, a sack, or something, because I don't know what he do. He went to the sideline and pointed to Shedeur. You need to be out here. Like, you out here. I was like, whoa. Shout out to Jalen Ramsey. So he was trying to tell you that Shedeur need to be the one in the game. Don't forget, the question is, should Shedeur Sanders start versus Miami? That's the question that I have that I want y'all to answer. Should Shedeur Sanders start versus Miami? That's the next game, I think. Let me know. Double check it and let me know. I could look at it real fast. Hold on one second. Cleveland. Who's next? Yep. Sunday, October 19th, 1 p.m. Dolphins versus the Browns. I have a feeling they're going to leave Dylan in. See, this is the easy part of the schedule. They have the Dolphins, then it's the Patriots, but the Patriots are actually pretty all right, I think. Then it's the Jets. So the Dolphins and the Jets are 2 that they could win. Then it's the Ravens, who are also third to last, in front of the Browns. That's 3. Then it's the Raiders. I don't think they're good either. And then it's the 49ers, and then it's the Titans. So this is the stretch. Miami is the game they wanted to switch to. They wanted Flacco to play through the Steelers game, but he got out of there. However he got out of there. So they might have told Dylan, look, Myles Garrett is right. This is going to be bad, but we're going to keep you in the rest of the games. But this one might be hard, so just toughen up. If you want to be in this league, it's going to be tough, and we'll just leave you in. Because they did not put in Shador. In 23-9, you should have put in Shador coming back after the half. After the half, Shador should have been in there. But, that's what you call being stubborn. But I also feel like if the owner allows it, then that's the owner's doing. And people are calling out Kevin Stefanski, which is also correct. But don't give Haslam a pass. He don't deserve a pass, right? And justice for Kyron Lacey, too. His mom was at LSU's game. So, she still likes them. So that's good. It said he would have put Bailey Zapp out there. I don't think he was active. He had to be active first. And I don't think they activated him. It said that's why Mike Tomlin blitzed Dylan Gabriel, because he had to get him for disrespecting Shador. It could be. How did Aaron Rodgers look like for real? Like, is he okay? Are they really good, or is the AFC North just trash? Like, which one is it really? The Ravens and the Browns are 3rd and 4th. There's only 4. Then the Bengals, and they in a bad place. So really, there's nobody else but the Steelers. So are they really good, or is it that the AFC North is trash? Feel free to answer that question too. Make sure you say AFC North is trash or they're good, so I can know who you're talking about. It said there's no good QBs coming out of the draft next year. Oh, well, everybody has pointed out that the quarterbacks coming out next year, none of them are better than Shador. Not one of them. And that's what's going to get Haslam in trouble, even though he already should be, because he trying to get somebody next year, and he has no idea how that's going to work out. But he knows Shador is a franchise QB. And when he said, we already took a big swing and missed with Deshaun Watson, what that got to do with Shador? You've been having Watson since 22. You did not take a big swing and miss with Watson. You took a big swing and miss with Kevin Stefanski. So that's disingenuous. That's dishonest. And it scapegoated Deshaun to try to move away from Shador, who you were never going to get, because you want your great white hope next year. And his fans, especially the ones that have a problem with racial bias, need to call him out for that, because that's what he's doing, and y'all shouldn't have to wait until next year to figure it out. You should be able to see that by now. It said you saw Jalen Ramsey talking to the sideline after he sacked Dylan. Oh, that's what it was. Thank you, that boy Wig. So Jalen Ramsey, after he sacked Dylan, was telling Shadure, you need to be out here. It's circulated somewhere on X or Instagram. I saw it. Somebody showed it to me earlier. It said, what was the final score of the Browns and the Steelers? 9-23. 3 field goals for the Browns and 23 for the Steelers. It said Deshaun will never play another down for the Cleveland Browns again. And people keep saying that. People keep saying that, but understand this. I think Deshaun getting ready to return to practice. That's what I heard or read. That Deshaun is seemingly getting ready to return to practice, and that is who they're going to get. Or if he can't because of the insurance restriction, then that's where they're going to trade. So they got Dillon out there, and they're going to say, well, you know what? We can't trust neither rookie. So let's just get a veteran. Because if they activate Bailey Zapp over Shedeur and that don't work, that's going to be a problem. Something's brewing. Understand, there's trade conversation. And to me, I don't even understand how Kirk Cousins could be in any trade conversation, not because he bombed in Atlanta already. That's part of it. His contract is $100 million guaranteed. For what? So somebody got to pay him. So he has to go somewhere. So understand this. The team that he goes to is going to have to make some kind of concession, and they're going to have some kind of backroom deals where maybe they get a new stadium. Hint, hint, right? So just like we talked about Deshaun and the Browns, how can people be so confident to say Deshaun will never play another snap in the NFL? Because that was always the goal. And here we got this stadium for a team. That's horrible. And the head coach is horrible. It won't nobody do anything about it. And you have a winner, but you let him, like Troy Aikman say, rot on the bench. It's all kind of malpractice going on over there. I just say racketeering at this point. It said, plus they stole $40 million from Shedeur Sanders. Facts. Facts. Yes, I saw Jalen Ramsey point to Shedeur after the sack. Yeah, he was telling him, you need to be out here. That was crazy. I'm just saying that was excellent. It said there is no good quarterbacks coming out of the draft. All garbage. I haven't heard Lenora Sellers' name in a minute. Is he back? It said, I wonder what he said. I think he told him he needed to be out here. That's what is being reported. I think it was on Facebook. It was kind of going viral. And I guess they try to caption what he was saying that you need to be out here because this guy is no good. And that's coming from the opponent. Shadue is basically Kaepernick. He's never playing in the NFL. I wouldn't say never. I wouldn't say never. I wouldn't say never. Because here's the thing. What's happening to Shadure is actually happening to all 16 black quarterbacks. If you pay attention to what's going on with everybody, he's the only one that never got the opportunity. They gave Russell the opportunity and took it away from him. And they rather prop up Dart, right? And they want you to believe what you see. And I ain't 100% that UT defeated Oklahoma. You gonna tell me that just out the blue? And I know Colorado beat 22 ranked Iowa State, but Colorado was actually being held back. UT was not. That's who they were. So they gonna gussy up and defeat the number 6 ranked Oklahoma Sooners when the conversation about this kid coming out has died to the point that the Cleveland radio station didn't even put out a week 4 and a week 5 rankings with him at the top like they had been doing it because they gave up on it. Nope. All you got to do is watch the rest of the season because they're going to have to fix every game after this one. It said, I could not find the article you told me to watch about Shadure. Which article you talking about? Let me know. It said, they said they're not trading him or cutting him, Shadure free. Right, because the owners want him benched. The owners took him off the board. Understand that. Fire Stefanski now. Yep. It said Dylan Gabriel should have been ejected after grabbing Steelers player number 6 by the neck and shirt for making a play on him. Oh, he got upset? Oh, wow. I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. That's interesting. I didn't see that at all. It said Tuna said he was so accurate. He hit the WS in the head. He was ready. What's the WS? I just got back home from having fun. So what's the WS? It said the replays are worse than they sound. It said Dollar General hit one of the wide receivers. Oh my God, in the helmet? It was that. My God. It said they can't hide Dillon behind Flacco and picking no more. They cannot. It's time to put up or shut up. Stefanski then wrote a check for Dillon that he can't cash. I agree. So here's the question, right? If I knew that putting Dillon out there was something I had to think long and hard about, I know Dillon not better than Shedeur. And I know I'm trying to hold Shedeur back. And that's why Troy Aikman said, he was so upset about it, right? Because these people know what's going on. What's the play? Because I'm just going to leave Dillon out there to be trash for the rest of the season. It's too early in the season for that. They only have, I think they only, 1-5? So they 6 games in. Out of how many? 13? So I got 7 games left? So I'm going to just let him rock for 7 games? No, I got to get somebody else. And if I can't get Deshaun and I can't elevate Bailey Zapp, then do I get Kirk Cousins or Mac Jones? Because how long is Brock Purdy out? That's a very good question. Let me look that up right fast. How long is Brock Purdy out? Because they high on Mac Jones. Is it right what they're doing to Shadure? Absolutely not. It's called discrimination. Is it right that they're discriminating against Shadure and intentionally holding him back? No. Is anybody going to hold him accountable? We shall see. How long is Brock Purdy out for? Brock Purdy return timeline is uncertain, but there is a chance he could play in week 7 against the Falcons. He's currently out for week 6 with a lingering toe injury, but has not been placed on the injured reserve, which is a positive sign. Purdy has been week to week. So if Purdy comes back in week 7, while the Browns are playing Miami, and everybody parroting Mac Jones, let's see if Mac Jones goes back to QB2 or if he gets traded, because trade talks are happening. Trade talks are happening. Understand that that's where we are right now. And again, there's a list of people on it. And I know Kirk Cousins and Njoku are 2 people on it, even though they're from different teams. Those are the 2 that stood out to me. And no, I'm not surprised they was going to trade Njoku. I said that would happen. It said Dillon should have worn his hat backwards. Maybe. Maybe. It said he got Gage hurt and hit Isaiah Bond in the head. Oh, that's who he hit? Isaiah Bond, his own receiver? Lord. It says Stefanski is his new name. Faces. It said Dillon is the villain. Oh, Lord. It'll be interesting to see what that guy, Tony Grossi, what excuses he makes for Dillon. Because Tony Grossi takes it a good pleasure to trash Shedeur and prop up Dillon with his conversation. So Sweet Pea say, let Dillon continue. That's what I say. I don't think you could trust it at this point. Here's the thing, right? I know, another person on that list, in addition to Njoku from the Browns organization, Boitano. That's the one. I told y'all. I said, So they talking about he not going to be traded. He trying to retire. So I don't know. They O-line, I don't know. One, they only paying him $975,000. And I know he want to get out there. But see, you got to look at this from a perspective of God protecting you. Them people robbed you of $46 million. And they already know you good. So if we let you get out there and you get hurt, then what? Is it worth it for Shador to take over at least the Miami game and play against Tua? I told you I think they want Dillon to play against Tua. Peter say, let Dillon keep playing. I agree. It says Shador don't need to be starting for this franchise. I agree. I don't think you can trust the franchise to do right by Shador. If I'm doing all this to hold you back, just like the preseason, I'm doing all of this to hold you back. I'm going to set you up when you get the opportunity, which is what happened against the Panthers, but he overcame that. And then look at what happened with the Rams. And then look at what happened with Dillon. The same thing that happened to Shador with the Rams. Sacked 5 times for Shador versus the Rams and 6 times against the Steelers. So they might have told Dillon, you just going to have to take it on the chin, and because Flacco gone, and we'll just keep you in for the rest. And they know they want to get somebody else next year. They don't believe he's their QB1, which meant when they drafted him, that was never the intent. It said, no, Shedeur should not play. Let him stay out of this mess. Let Dylan continue. I like it. It said Shedeur shouldn't start as long as Stefanski is okay calling. I like that. So if Stefanski still got that headset, I said the same thing about Juju. Wanted put Juju out there. I said, is Pat Shermer still calling the plays? Because no. I'm like, no. That kid, no. Caden been in school for 5 years. No. And that was the right thing to do. That situation just had to be repaired. And it is. So we just gonna keep it pushing. I like that, Bridget. As long as Stefanski is calling the plays, Shador does not need to play regardless of who it is they playing. So they need to demote Stefanski and put in Tommy Reese. And that might be what they do. Because Tommy Reese's interview was the first one I saw. And I know he's had other interviews. And I was like, he seems normal. He's being transparent. And now Stefanski is like, well, maybe I should give up the headset. You should just pack up and go home. That's what you should do, Nepo baby. But at the same time, don't be surprised if that's the change, because the Haslam's already know they're going to be pushed for a change. And they know they got to keep their fans happy. And they know they want to protect their servant leader. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to come up with a happy medium. We're going to let Tommy Reese call the plays. And the fans will shut up for a minute. And we really just trying to get to the last game so we can get our great white hope next season. They just trying to get to the end. It said, no, Shadeur, do not push Shadeur out there. Keep Dylan out there. Okay, I like it. Clara says she wants Shadeur out of Cleveland. You and a lot of people. It said going to any other team is a new can of worms, but Shadeur knows the Browns' worms. That's a good point. He already understands the culture there, and he can thrive in it, even not playing. So, okay, I like that too. That's a good tuna. Thank you. It said let Dollar General have it. Facts. So he started. Let him keep it pushing. Okay. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Elijah? How you doing? Play calling. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant. As long as Stefanski's still calling the plays. Yep. It said let Dylan Gabriel have it unless someone else is play calling. Yep, that's the consensus. That's the growing consensus. They will end up starting him in a snow game. Interesting. A snow game? What's the theory there, Keegan? You're gonna have to expand on that a little bit for us. Sweet Pea say no, not Miami. Laura say no, not Miami. 22 said Dylan Gabriel played 6 years of football and Shadeur played 4. Of course, Dylan Gabriel is gonna have more yards. Right. Whoever posted that, I said, it's not too late to delete this. You really out here comparing. Shadeur was in school for 4 years and Dylan for 6, and you talking about is Shadeur really a good choice as a backup? Because look at Dylan's yards versus Shadeur. So you don't know they was in school. One was in school for 2 years more than the other. You see how people just try to rush to make Shadeur look bad, to don't even know what they be talking about. So I just was laughing, the laughing emoji, and I said, it's not too late to delete this. It just make you look bad. It make you look bad. There's mistakes and stupidity. Those are different things. Those are different things. Different things. Yep, no, Miami. I love CC said, nope, let Dylan ride it out. Okay, I like it. It says Shadeur hasn't had enough reps with the ones. Thank you for that, Bridget. We talked about that. So there's been no conversation about Shadeur having first team reps. He's still out there with the scout team, and you know what? The game plan really is for Dylan anyway. So we don't want Shadeur with that. I say move. Here's what needs to happen. Fire Kevin Stefanski, but if they ain't gonna do that, demote Kevin Stefanski, let Tommy Reese call the plays, and then Shadeur can get in. But I'm gonna be looking at that O-line. Understand that. I got my eye on that O-line. So, I like that. Shadeur hasn't had enough reps with the first ones. And maybe with Tommy Reese calling the shots, maybe he'll get it. Fingers crossed. It said, JBJ TV said, no Miami, because I want him to play on Miami and not with the Browns. I will never buy any NFL jersey. Okay. Well, you can buy one of our 12 hoodies or our Shadourian hoodies. I got one that say 12 on the front with rub me my money on the back. That's the one y'all gonna see me with soon because I got to get that one. I'm waiting for it to arrive right now. BJ Riggs said, nope, no Miami. Kenyon Morris said, nope, let him get in 4 minutes at the fourth quarter if the Browns have no chance to win. Kenyon say, put him in for 4 minutes at the fourth quarter if the Browns can't win. It said those damn tickets in a new stadium start at $200. Yeah, the Falcons already with their stadium, $234 for nosebleed seats. Clemson said, yes, let him play Miami. Okay, Clemson, welcome and thank you. Shedeur won with one of the worst O-lines in college. Now, that's true. That's true. But you did see what happened with the Rams, though, right? But Coach Prime told them, don't be afraid to use those checkdowns. Everybody else using them. So I thought that was an excellent way to say it. That was some fatherly advice right there. It said Dylan Gabriel needs to stay in. That's who they wanted. Let them keep him out there. Okay. Turney, I like that. Newmark says Shador should sit. If he plays, he'll end up saving Stefanski's job. Okay. Now, this is an interesting perspective. Shador should not play because then if he get out there and ball out like we know he can, he will be saving Stefanski's job. So just let this just bleed out, essentially. Okay. All right. The only time I'm in favor of just letting it go. Okay, everybody wins with that. Shador wins because he's not saving Stefanski. The Haslam's get what they want because they don't want to fire their faithful servant. Then they get, if they at last, they get another first round pick. They will have 3. They already have 2. So they win in that regards, which means, like I said, they're not in a hurry to win. There's no sense of urgency to replace him. So you're right. He would save Stefanski's job unless Tommy Rees becomes the OC and is visibly calling the plays. Then he will be helping to elevate Tommy Rees. And if Stefanski get fired, I hope he never ever ends up in college football and definitely not at Colorado. I just want to put that out there. I know he got a little friend over there who like to get him little jobs and everything. No. Coach Prime, no. Absolutely. I would lose it. I would lose it. I'm like, look, there's one thing to do good, but this not it. This not it. This not it at all. I don't care where you go, but not to Colorado. It said the wide receivers will catch the ball for Shadure. Facts. It said no bench Shadure. Let Dillon play out this season. We don't want Shadure in this mess. Okay, Elaine, I like that. It said Dylan Gabriel a bunch of yards and no touchdown. Right. People hung up on yards. I'm like, really? Yards? You just talking about yards? What about completion? What about efficiency? What about accuracy? So none of that matters, just yards. But when it was Shadure, the yards didn't matter either. That's insane. That's when you just trying to force your point. It said, I will play him after their bye week so he can have 2 weeks to prepare and to get some hurt players back from injury. Okay, Jay Tweezy. All right. That boy Wiggs say, you know what? I want him to start. He could possibly turn this whole thing around. What story that would be? Maybe it's wishful thinking. But it is true. He will be saving Stefanski's job. And Stefanski got to go. And personally, I don't think Texas beat OU for Stefanski to still be the head coach. I don't. At all. At all. So, you know what? Just let it bleed out. Just let it just fall to the wayside. Everybody wins. And the Browns fans get to get rid of Stefanski, the worse it gets. I don't need Shador saving Stefanski's job. Unless God think that's gonna make him stop being racially biased, but I don't think so. I doubt it. K. Daniel said, no, I don't think it's safe. It said, I can't with Cleveland. They so dysfunctional. I totally agree with that. It said, yes, Shador should play because he could change things. But do we want to change things? Do we want to change things? Like, do we want to save Kevin Stefanski's job with Shador's elite QB1 franchises? Do we want to really enrich the Browns with getting to the playoffs with Shador after they are the ones that really discriminated against him? That's the ones that are holding him back. He could go out there and go to the playoffs, but they don't want to go with him. So should that really be the position? I don't think we should enrich Stefanski. I don't think we should enrich the Browns. It ain't up to us. But since we talking about it, I say he can only play if Tommy Rees is calling the plays and Stefanski has been demoted and he in street clothes. But then again, I don't know if I could trust that. But that would be the only scenario. And then again, I'd have a question with the O-line. So maybe I hate for his whole season, his rookie season, to just go to the wayside, you know? And I know he has to get out there. They do have to put him out there at some point. And to me, putting Dillon out there just totally trashed his trade stock. You can't even say You want to use him as draft capital. What the hell is he going to be traded with? Or undrafted free agent? They totally demolished Dylan Gabriel's draft stock. Tell me I'm wrong. Who going to hire him? So, I don't know. It said Lil D was hot, putrid, trash. It says Stefanski has lost the locker room. Yes. I think that is apparent now. I think that is becoming more, it'll become more apparent the next couple of days. But I think coming into this game that was the case. He does need to be fired. It said, remember, Dylan is the one with the computer brain and NFL ready. Oh, Lord, that's right. They did say that. And here we are. That's sad. And that's the kind of propping up I'm talking about. You just flat out lying. You saying this kid got a computer brain and he NFL ready, but you had to think long and hard to put him out there. And then you put him out there anyway against the Steelers. He gets sacked 6 times, don't score at all, had 52 reps, and hit his own receiver in the head with the ball. And why did Quinshon Judkins only have 12 carries for 36 yards? What's going on with that? He had 110 yards last week. Again, not sure what's happening here. I am proud of Travis as well. Yeah. So I only watch highlights, and I saw Dylan Gabriel throw 2 hospital balls. Damn near got it, Joe Cook. DED. That's bad. That's bad. It said, yes, spoke well as Shedeur. Reese seems cool. Yes, appearances. But yes, seemingly Reese is the guy that should be calling the plays going forward. Let's see what happens. Why do they always call on us to save? Say, let Dylan do it. Let Dylan do it. Facts. To be honest, I don't even think the Hasmans want to win. It said Penn State coach. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Kevin Stefanski could go to Penn State. They talking about Drew Allard should have declared for the draft last year because now he out for the whole season. Carson Beck seems to be the best choice to come out number 1, but I don't hear nobody talking about him. Instead, Texas miraculously beat number 6 Oklahoma. I just can't believe it. But Carson Beck is actually over there winning games, and they're not talking about him being, I think they undefeated, and they still not talking about him being number 1 coming out, and they know he coming out this year. So he must be on the wrong side of their situation over there. It said Tommy R was the one. Shador asked for a deep ball. So that's who that was. Thank you for clarifying. Remember, we were talking about the Panthers game, and Shador was talking to a guy on the sideline. They were sitting down, and Shador said, I want a deep ball or something like that, and the guy made it happen. They're saying that was Tommy Reese. I didn't know who that was. Okay. And he was Alabama's offensive coordinator, which Jalen Milroe's offensive coordinator, which means when the Cleveland Browns interviewed Shedeur, Jalen Milroe, and Cam Ward, they interviewed all 3 for the number 2 first-round draft pick. You would think they would have gotten Jalen Milroe because Tommy Reese was his OC at Alabama, but no, they had their sights set on Shedeur till they remember they still had Deshaun. And remember, Deshaun, a dual threat, doesn't fit Stefanski's system. And Shedeur and Deshaun, with Shedeur being a pocket passer, he don't fit Stefanski's system either. Only Dylan. The style of football that Dylan plays fits Stefanski's system. And based on what you saw with Pittsburgh, that means Stefanski need to be fired. Because if that's the only quarterback fit your system, you got to get the hell out of here. It would be more entertaining to watch some 5-year-olds play on Saturday at 9 a.m. in the Texas heat. Yes. It would be more exciting to see that than to see the type of gameplay that Stefanski has and what happened with Pittsburgh. That was ridiculous. And the stat came out to be the Browns have not defeated Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh since 2003 in the regular season, which is still bad. It said they're giving Kevin the string to hang himself. That might be it. Giving him a new, giving him enough rope to hang himself. So they want to get the Manning kid. I kind of believe that. He got Gage hurt bad. So no update on Gage. It says Shadeur arm will make defense think twice for a strategy. It said Dylan Gabriel almost got his wide receiver killed today. Oh, that's bad. Brian said Manning is a fraud. Yeah, they propping him up too. Because I'm not convinced that Texas beat number 6 ranked OU. Cleveland is tanking. Did y'all see Texas play Florida? That same Texas that played Florida went out there and beat number 6 ranked OU. Do not forget, Colorado was actually good in being held back. UT was UT. And the way they played against Florida and the way they played against OU, they're going to have to beat every team from here on out to convince me that they've gotten better. It said, join late, catching up on a replay. The Pittsburgh game was winnable with Shedeur as QB1. Okay, Chandra. If you're just not joining us, we were talking about, now that we know Miami is up next. And we know Dylan is not that guy, but we knew that, right? Dylan was a what? Undrafted agent, draft projected QB. And he plays like it, right? So Stefanski got his way. And Amber said they'd given him enough rope to hang himself. And I agree, because why? OU lost to Texas. And the Manning kid conversation is going to be revived. And Cleveland has the first pick, and they want to get the Manning kid, which is why Haslam was at Ohio State versus UT. And UT also lost that game. So Manning, Haslam doesn't want the Manning kid to win with the Browns. He wants the Manning kid brand name. He know what the Sanders name can do, but he don't want the black QB brand name. He wants the white QB brand name. But see, this was going to come back to bite him. Shadue is also good. You could have the brand name and you could have the winning, but your bias is blinding you or making you feel like you could do what the hell you want to do, which is called arrogance. So you like, I got the first pick next year. I don't want the black Sanders NFL legacy. I want the white Manning legacy, and I don't give a damn if he ain't good. If we got to go out here and pay OU to take a dive and everybody else for him to appear to come out first, so be it. So be it. Because they don't have to beat everybody else now. Because I don't know how you play the way you did against Ohio State and Florida and whoever else you lost to, because you only beat teams that weren't good, and then you get out here and beat number 6 ranked Ohio after the conversation about him coming out is dead. Come on now. If I can rig it so Shadure can fall to 144, I can rig it to the Manning kid come out of UT and he beat everybody from here on out, just so y'all can justify, we can justify to y'all that he's a first round pick. You're damn right. Rigging works both ways. I can rig against Shadure and I can rig in favor of the Manning kid. Haslam just wants the Manning last name. And if the Mannings agreed to that kid to go there, Stefanski ain't going to be the head coach. And that's why they letting him hang out to dry. But that's what he get. It's called karma. 430 or one of us, hit the like button, please. It said, thank you, everybody, for just not joining us. Let's see if y'all can give me the 5,500 tonight. We're less than 100 subs away. Thank you. It said, everyone know that defense win that game. It must be what it is. It better be something like that. It better be the defense won the championship because, But let's see who the conversation going to be around, Bridget. Just like with the New York Giants. Cam Shadue is their star. 3 touchdowns. Cam Shadue. But who they talking about? Jackson Dart. Who is his connection run through to the Giants to Ole Miss? The Mannings. And who was having that conversation about Travis Hunter practicing only on offense as if the Jaguars developed him on defense? He didn't really have that many targets this week. I don't know what's going on with that. He didn't have as many targets this week. What he did good with what he had, but he wasn't their first or second receiver this week like he was last week. So I don't know what they got going on. They said Trevor playing scare ball again, so they lost. Hey, fam, missed you. No, I pray that Shadure does not play here in the Sunshine State in Miami. It's been raining every day. Okay, Jackie, thank you. Kenya said Manning isn't coming out. He knows he need more time. We're going to see. I know he didn't want to come out. But now he says he's taking it day by day. I think they forcing him to come out. Tommy Reese is ready to go. I heard he got another job. I know UCLA was interested in him, but apparently they got somebody else. So you're going to have to let us know about that one. It says, yes, Miami, it's time for a change. Okay, so Titus Kitchen say, yeah, let him play in Miami. It said, only with clueless people think Arch Manning can play. Yeah, I don't know. I think the NFL believe a lot of people are clueless. And it would surprise me if the Heisman committee try to convince other people that they are clueless as well. Arch Manning is not that good yet to be coming out for the 2026 draft. He needs more polishing of his game. I said 2027, he should be good to go. But it seems like with Haslam wanting, I don't see them talking about Carson Beck. It seems like, he wasn't down at Miami watching Carson Beck play. He was over there at Ohio State with UT. It seems like for him, he did all this to get the first round pick to get the Manning kid. Let's see if the conversation in Cleveland changes, right? Let's see if the radio station there start putting out the little tracker again with Arch Manning at the top. Because they stopped after it just didn't look good. Let's see if they go back to it. Because they can tell you, when you listen to them talk, all they are telling you, those people don't know nothing without the Browns telling them something. So listen to them talk. And whatever they all agree upon and keep repeating on their respective platforms is what the Browns are saying to them. They don't know nothing without the Browns saying it. Without Stefanski. Stefanski know how to play the media game because his dad was like a general manager, I think, of the 76ers. They say his dad only got that job because of who he knew. And that's what it appears to be with Stefanski. It says, should Shedeur start in Miami? No, let Dylan Gable continue. We need a larger sample size on the future evaluation of Dylan Gable performance compared to Shedeur. Okay. Dylan Gable showed out today. Yeah, he did. Hitting his receiver in the head. And somebody say it looked like you get a little frustrated. I honestly didn't know Cleveland's front office was this horrible. Me either, CC. And I know more. I know way too much about the Cleveland Browns than I care to know. Elijah, his square head, ain't do nothing. He said Gage got concussed. Oh, I hate that. So he ended up in the tent due to a concussion. Okay. It said Manning is not pro ready. His confidence is telling everyone this as well as his game. All right, we'll keep our eye on it because it better be the defense that won that game. But that's not what I'm hearing. Dylan Gable was on the 5-yard line and couldn't score. Oh, Lord. Jeez. And Njoku almost got hurt really bad, too, catching one of those ICU balls from Dylan up the middle. And here's the thing. They don't want Njoku to get hurt because they trying to trade him, from what I understand. And I'm not surprised they're trying to trade him. And good luck to him because maybe he could end up in a better situation, too. So I hate that Gage is hurt. It said Dylan gonna put the whole receiver corps out of commission. Lord have mercy. They said they thought Travis was gonna get hurt like that in Jacksonville, trying to catch one of them hospital balls from Trevor. Maybe that's why it's a good thing he don't have as many targets as we think he should have. Because he balls out for them, but they didn't give him that many targets this time. I don't know why. And he did good with what he had, but whatever. Maybe if it keeps him out of the ICU, we good. Or the medical tent. It said Dylan Gable threw a ball and it hit Cleveland's number 16 on the side of his helmet. Is that Isaiah Bond? Who is number 16? Isaiah Bond almost him hot. That's crazy. Oh, Lord. All right, y'all. We're going to get ready to get out of here. I try to go through as many of these comments as possible. Y'all did really good tonight. Thank y'all so much for that. Okay, so Miami up next. I'm going to be on it this week. We're doing a Shadue watch all week because I want to see what happens. What I expect to happen is they fire Kevin Stefanski. But since I know he's a faithful servant of the Cleveland Browns and the Haslams have no sense of urgency and they let him mess it up this much, I don't think that's going to happen. What I should happen in the best interest of business and furthering and righting this ship, Tommy Rees should take the helmet and start calling the plays. He seems normal. He can provide transparency. He don't talk in a word salad, and he does not appear to seem to be biased against Shedeur Sanders. And if he is, he doesn't bring it to work with him, and that's huge. So we'll be on a Shedeur watch this week leading up to the Miami game. I agree. Let's just let Dylan roll forward a little more, even if Tommy Rees change and get the headset. But this is the easier stretch. So don't be surprised if they let Dylan keep rolling. Don't be surprised if within the next week or two, Deshaun returns to practice. And don't be surprised if they trade for a veteran within the next 2 weeks or November 6th, because Mac Jones, if you hear his name a lot, is going to end up on somebody's roster as QB1. All right, so I'm gonna get myself out of here. This was awesome. Thank you for over 430 of y'all today. We'll be back tomorrow at 10:35 p.m. And we might pop up during the day since we're doing a Shedeur watch with breaking news. So make sure your notifications are on. All right, everybody. Y'all have a good night. And thank you so much for the engagement. And let's just keep Shedeur in our prayers, and we just gonna do what God say. Because it's a hot mess over there in Cleveland. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.